Legend of Exorcism. Chapter 117. Castles in the Air. In his memories, a young Morrigan lay in the mountain cave. He gasped for air, his body covered in injuries. His old wounds had not yet healed before new wounds appeared. His clothes had long since been torn to shreds, and he looked like a wild man that wandered the grasslands, living with the wild animals there. His skin was rough and dirty, and his hair had tangled into knots. His injuries gleamed with torn flesh that had not yet knitted back together. A glowing stag slowly stepped in from outside, its antlers trailing starlight. Morrigan looked up, his eyes filled with astonishment, as he tilted his head up to look towards that stag's reflection. The white light coalesced, taking the form of a completely naked youth. His skin was fair, and his build was lithe and beautiful. The youth made a shh gesture at him, but Morrigan immediately vaulted to his feet, grabbed Lusu's neck, and pressed him down on the ground. Morrigan's skin had a rough, male scent to it, as if he was a wild wolf howling in the middle of a rut, venting its desire by tearing and biting. Lusu simply looked quietly into his eyes. A moment later, Morrigan let out another fierce roar, before biting down viciously at his neck. Not only did Lusu not struggle, but instead, he lifted his arms and embraced him, hugging his broad shoulders. Morrigan's sharp canines pierced the side of his neck, and fresh, sweet blood gushed into his mouth. The scent of Lusu's skin immediately made him feel that his body had had a reaction. Morrigan's breathing grew rough, and he let go of Lusu's neck, just like how on that night, in a different dream, the grey wolf had mercilessly bitten at his flesh. He gently kissed Lusu's neck, and with that, Lusu's wound swiftly healed, leaving behind a faint, red imprint. Lusu hugged him around the neck, tilting his head and moving to kiss him. Right after that, Morrigan undid the tie around his waist, pulling Lusu's hands out from behind his head as he pressed Lusu down on the ground. He sucked and kissed his collarbones, and like a wolf king madly in love, he viciously entered him. "It's only these," Lusu said a little uneasily as his palm left Morrigan's forehead. "Are they memories?" Morrigan asked, smiling. Lusu replied, "Actually, I don't have many memories that I cherish, but in the end, you probably won't know." On the bed in the amber of Lanling, Morrigan sat up and immediately let out a loud shout. There was a wet patch on his pants, and Lusu stiffly rose from the side of the bed and walked away. "You've held it in for too long," Lusu said. Morrigan's face immediately turned bright red, and he looked all around for a cloth to wipe himself with as he shouted, "Lusu! Lusu!" Lusu leaned with his back against the staircase as he panted, before lowering his head to look at his own body. For a time, he found that he was basically unable to calm his emotions. "What did you add into my dreams with the seal?" That day, before they had left, Morrigan had specially asked Lusu that. "They're all some very ordinary things," Lusu said. Morrigan was a little apologetic as he bent over and pushed with his might. With a huff of air, he pushed the cart into motion, and he added casually, "Looks like since you've followed me, you haven't had many happy days. If I had known earlier, then I would have brought you somewhere even more fun in the first place." The cart was carrying wine. Lusu sat on the side of the cart, his back to Morrigan, and he lowered his head. It was twilight, and day and night exchanged places. Lusu's hand shone with light, the ball of light flying back and forth. "That day, when I saw Hung Jun's dream," Lusu said, without turning his head back, "I felt that people meeting each other and getting to know each other consists of a bunch of trivial, ordinary things. Why try to make things so majestic and grandiose? It's tiring." Morrigan arched a handsome eyebrow, before he grinned mischievously. "What if you can't wake me?" "We'll be able to wake you," Lusu said, "Zhenqi will come back." "I want you to wake me," Morrigan said, smiling again. "If you undo the seal, then I will naturally wake." Lusu didn't know if Morrigan was simply teasing him, or if he was being earnest. Mo Regen pushed the cart along, wobbling along the cobblestone path, and Lu Su bounced along with the cart's motion. Mo Regen said, "If you really can't wake me up, then don't mind me, kill me." "We'll be able to wake you up," Lu Su repeated. "Are you insane?" Mo Regen chuckled self-deprecatingly. Lu Su continued, "Even if we can't wake you, I won't kill you. At most, I'll give you a few slaps, and you'll wake up." "Only slaps?" Mo Regen asked. "What else do you want?" Lu Su asked seriously. Mo Regen saw that Lu Su was constantly keeping his back to him, and his hands were glowing as he turned them this way and that. He didn't know what Lu Su was toying with, so he stuck his head out curiously. "What magic is this?" Lu Su did not reply, instead putting the balls of light away, saying, "We're here." With that, he hopped off the cart and walked into the alley. Mo Regen widened his eyes and pondered for a long while, before finally stepping foot through that pair of doors that led into the Angzi military manor. The instant that he went through the doors, there was a huge boom. Black flames engulfed his body, and he appeared in the alley, one hand against the wall, as he trapped Lu Su in his control. Lu Su, however, moved forward and kissed him on the lips. Mo Regen immediately froze, but with a shua, Lu Su extricated himself and left. Under the moonlight, Mo Regen, wearing an all-black outfit, stood at the edge of the roof, and Lu Su stood tall behind him. A full moon hung in the sky. "Go away. Stop following me," Mo Regen said coldly. "Aren't you just going to kill someone?" Lu Su asked quietly. "I'll go with you." Mo Regen widened his eyes, and Lu Su added, "Tomorrow morning, I will be waiting for you in our usual spot. Don't oversleep." "Wait." Mo Regen said. "Where?" Lu Su, however, already leapt off the roof and vanished. Mo Regen took a few steps after him, before he came to a stop. The next morning, sunlight shone into the alleyways, and Mo Regen turned corner after corner, but did not come across Lu Su in the darkened alleyways. Suddenly, he thought of another place, and he swiftly raced to a food stall bustling with noisy customers outside the Western market. Still, he did not see Lu Su. "Why did it take you so long to arrive?" Lu Su asked from behind. Mo Regen turned his head back, only to see that Lu Su was holding a xiaobing wrapped in paper as breakfast, and he replied, "Today, I'm going to kill someone." "Even if you're going to kill someone, you have to eat breakfast first, isn't that right?" Lu Su thought that this person was being completely nonsensical. Was there an issue with eating their fill before they started their work? Mo Regen could only take that bing and sit down at the stall, ripping the bing apart and soaking it in the soup before eating it. He asked unhappily, "Don't you not like this place's food?" Lu Su said, "Now I like it." Mo Regen, "Why?" "Because you like it," Lu Su replied expressionlessly. Mo Regen said no more. After the two of them ate breakfast, Mo Regen said, "I'm going to kill your brothers." "Do as you wish," Lu Su said. "I will not stop you." Mo Regen let out a cold grunt, and he came to the Dacian temple, which was already packed with people. He leapt onto the wall of the temple, and Lu Su followed suit. The two of them came to a sheltered spot in the treasury hall, where one of Master Xuanzang's relics was enshrined. Mo Regen pushed the window open and propped his bow up on the window sill, knocking 6 nailed arrows to the string. Lu Su asked, "Should I return this one to you as well?" Mo Regen replied, "I have enough." Hung Jun hadn't come, and he wasn't Mo Regen's target either. From this angle, Mo Regen just so happened to be able to see and pinpoint the platform above the stairs that had been set up outside the doors to the Dacian temple. 2 lounges had been placed there, for Li Longji and Imperial Consort Yang respectively, who were due to arrive soon. Mo Regen checked his aim before letting go of the string. With one foot up on the window sill, he hid himself and waited, as if he was a wolf waiting in the darkness for his prey to draw close. Lu Su leaned on the window sill, looking outside, and above them the sun blazed down. During the Zhenguan era, Mo Rijin said absent-mindedly, the Khan of the Kittens, Li Jinzong, rebelled against the Tang dynasty, while the Shi Wei allied themselves with the Tang. The two sides sank into a battle that lasted for years, and the Akhun tribe, due to pressure from the Uyghurs and the Kittens, had no choice but to cut off their communication with the Tang dynasty. Lu Su did not interject. He simply listened quietly. This battle was fought in fits and starts, and it has lasted for over 100 years, Mo Rijin said, lowering his head to inspect his bowstring. The Akhun tribe lives on the banks of Lake Wolun, and once entirely belonged to the Tang dynasty. When the boys in the tribe turned 16, they joined the Tang army to attack Tajuk. But when I was 6 years old, the Turks attacked. For the sake of preserving their forces, the Tang troops forcibly retreated from the Akhun region without caring for the survival of the tribesmen. This caused the Uyghurs to attack us, and the women and children of the tribe were ravaged by the Uyghurs. The tribe was ransacked. The Uyghurs liked to capture Shi Wei and Khitan children and take them back with them to train them into sacrificial soldiers, and they would use them as the first wave to block the Tang troops. As soon as they were taken away, they would not return. For the sake of keeping me safe, my mother had me hide under the bed, and she came to an agreement with a 100-man squad leader of the Uyghurs. What agreement? Lu Su asked. Mo Rijin replied, during the daytime, my mother had me hide in piles of clothing and forbid me from going out, to prevent the Uyghur soldiers from spotting me. She herself stayed in the tent, suffering on my behalf. Lu Su was silent at that. Later, the Uyghur soldiers left, and we sought help from the Shi Wei, Mo Rijin said. The Shi Wei people arrived, and originally they wanted to assist us in guarding our village, but the Tang troops arrived soon after, and their soldiers killed all of the tribesmen in the village and burned all of our lands. Lu Su, why? Mo Rijin replied, because the small Akhun squad that the Uyghurs had gathered had ambushed Mount Lanja, and killed 27 Tang soldiers. The Tang troops wanted to exact their revenge for their fallen upon us, and because Lake Wolun was an important region in the battle, one that went back and forth between the sides, they could not guard it. To prevent the Uyghurs gaining any logistical advantage from this place, after they killed them, they torched the entire region. That day, I still remember, my mother told me to go fetch some water, but as soon as I turned, the village caught on fire. Mo Rijin silently looked out the window. Under the blazing sun, Lu Su turned his head, studying Mo Rijin, before he began to smile faintly. What are you smiling for? Mo Rijin asked. You look so good, Lu Su said. You haven't even kissed me yet. Mo Rijin replied, if you're trying to dissuade me, save your breath. I won't dissuade you, Lu Su said. I'll simply be there with you. If you stop me at the very last moment, I will shoot you to death first, Mo Rijin threatened, his voice filled with a dark promise. I won't, Lu Su frowned. Why are you so suspicious of everything? Mo Rijin fell silent for a moment, studying Lu Su resentfully. A moment later, he put down the foot he had up on the window sill, leaning against it like Lu Su was. He lowered his body a little, moving closer to Lu Su. Lu Su closed his eyes, and Mo Rijin's lips parted a little as he pressed a kiss to Lu Su's mouth. Their lips were both burning hot but gentle and soft, and their breathing quickened uncontrollably at that. A bell rang in the distance. Li Longji and Yang Yahuan had arrived. Their lips parted, and Lu Su's and Mo Rijin's gazes met for a moment. Mo Rijin turned to look out past the doors of the Dacian temple, where a solemn hush had fallen over the world. He placed the longbow on the window sill, pulling out the nailed arrows from his quiver, preparing to knock them to the bow. It was at this very moment that Lu Su suddenly said, if, in your dreams, I crafted a series of memories that turned that past of darkness into a childhood where you grew up with me, Do you think that to you, everything would be different? It wouldn't, Morigin replied solemnly. What has happened has happened. To me, even if my memories are changed, those matters will always exist. But to me, Lu Su replied, all of that pain only exists in memories. Driving away those painful dreams and leaving behind only the good ones is the duty of the gray wolf and the white deer. Which is why doing so will only deceive yourself and everyone else, Morigin said. Dreams and reality, where does the boundary between them lie? In other words, how are you so sure that those painful memories weren't crafted by Mara for the sake of corrupting you? Morigin. Lu Su continued. Let's suppose that we are in a dream right now. How can you confirm how many of your memories are dreams, and how many are reality? Let me say one more thing. What if I were to tell you that in the moment that I sealed away your memories, the murderers in your dream were Uyghur soldiers, but it was only after An Lushan interfered that the murderers turned into Tang troops? Morigin did not reply, as if he was no longer listening to what Lu Su was saying. He slowly drew his bow, aiming at Li Longji's back in the distance. As long as the arrow left the string, it would fly almost 100 paces distant, pierce through the nape of the emperor's neck, and kill him on the spot. It was at this moment that the abbot, holding a wooden fish, led some 10-odd monks in walking out, chanting their sutras as they prayed for blessings on behalf of the emperor and the consort. Namo Ratnatraya. Nama Aryavalokitesvarya. Instantly, thousands of monks began to chant in unison throughout the pagoda, and their voices seemed to pierce right into the eardrums of everyone present. The chant thundered in Morigin's chest, countless scenes flashing before his eyes. All this pain only exists in your memories. Dreams and reality, where does the boundary between them lie? Morigin turned his head disbelievingly to look at Lu Su, who was standing under the sunlight, silently meeting his gaze. In that moment, it was as if they had returned to the deer king Jataka, and they stood quietly by that geyser pool. In that moment, Morigin's heart seemed to open up to the heavens, and his chest buzzed, the seal of the deer king appearing there. The phenomena of life may be likened unto a dream, a phantasm, a bubble, a shadow, Morigin murmured. Lu Su smiled faintly, as a cloud, a flash of lightning, thus should we look upon the world. Morigin put down his bow, and what came with that was a bout of dizziness. Raindrops fell on the banks of Lake Wolun. The stag stood in the middle of the lake, sending up thousands of ripples around its body, blossoming and fading like brilliant lotus flowers. The grey wolf stood on the banks of the lake, looking into the stag's eyes. It is time for me to go. I will be reborn in the Majao caves, the stag said in a low, warm voice as it turned. I will be reborn by this lake, the grey wolf's low, hoarse voice replied. The stag said, remember to come find me. Oh well, let it be how destiny wishes. I will go to you, the grey wolf replied. The stag turned and leapt into the sky. The rain had already stopped, and the silver river above spread out across the sky. The stag followed the glowing path that the stars wove as it bounded into the distance, across the vast land. The grey wolf's glowing indigo spiritual form slowly turned into points of light that drifted apart on the breeze, dancing on the wind. Lake Wolun looked like a mirror, reflecting this scene. Deep in the night, Morigin pulled open the paper door. His upper body was bare, and he was clad only in his underwear as he walked out. In the corridor, Lu Su sat there, his legs folded, and as if he had already guessed at what Morigin was thinking, Lu Su toyed with two balls of light in his hands. Morigin lowered his head to look at them, only to see that those two balls of light in Lu Su's hands were actually a tiny, glowing little white deer, and an indigo young wolf. The young wolf raced after the white deer to the palm of his right hand, while the white deer leapt towards the palm of his left. The grey wolf and white deer chased each other back and forth. Morigin sat down by Lu Su's side and slung one hand over his shoulder. Lu Su looked up to study the stars, but Morigin turned his head to study Lu Su. I love you, Morigin said quietly. Don't be nauseating, Lu Su replied coldly. In that instant, Mo Rijin opened his eyes and let out an angered roar, before throwing Lu Su off his back. Lu Su's face was already sheet white, and he was suffocating where he floated in the water. He was no longer breathing, and Mo Rijin immediately lifted him to the side of the pool, pressing down on his nose and mouth. He vigorously pressed down on his chest, before breathing air into his mouth. Once, twice, and Lu Su gasped violently, before water came spewing out. He coughed harshly, and Mo Rijin allowed him to cough a few times before pushing him back down. Woo, Lu Su struggled as he moved to push him aside. He had already woken up, and Mo Rijin was no longer passing him air. Instead, he was pressing their tongues together, forcefully dominating him with a kiss. Lu Su. Lu Su widened his eyes. This time, it was Mo Rijin's turn to close his eyes as he focused on kissing Lu Su. A moment later, Mo Rijin felt that both of them had had a reaction, and he immediately opened his eyes again, his gaze filled with mirth, but their lips did not part from each other's. And in that gaze was a hint of evil. Lu Su startled, and his heart began to beat violently. The devil qi in Mo Rijin's body had yet to be exorcised. He immediately elbowed Mo Rijin harshly, knocking him away. Mo Rijin had no choice but to be ambushed again, and he immediately shouted, incensed, "Are you looking to die?" This was already far out of Lu Su's expectations, and his first thought was, damn. The devil qi is still there. He retreated instinctively, he still had to go find Li Jinglong. Lu Su once again fell into the pool, but Mo Rijin leapt in as well, sending up a wave of water. Lu Su decided to flee, but Mo Rijin wrapped one arm around his waist, shoving him up against the wall without allowing him any protest. Lu Su. Lu Su wanted to struggle more, but Mo Rijin bit him on the red mark on his neck. Instantly, Lu Su's entire body stiffened up, but Mo Rijin did not bite down. He simply scraped it gently with his canines, before turning it into a kiss, landing a light kiss on his neck. Right after that, he kissed slowly up Lu Su's neck to his ear, before then moving to the side of his face. Lu Su turned his head, his eyes filled with shock. Now it's my turn, Mo Rijin said quietly. Loosen up a bit, don't be nervous. The two of them were face to face, before Mo Rijin once again caught Lu Su's lips in a kiss. Do you not like the savage ones? Mo Rijin asked. Your devil qi, Lu Su said. This isn't right. This was me to begin with, Mo Rijin said. This is the real me. No, no, we can't hear, bastard. Lu Su immediately shouted. What are you supposed to call me? Mo Rijin asked quietly into Lu Su's ear. Their clothes had long since been completely soaked through, and through their thin summer silks, their muscles pressed together in this bathing chamber filled with steam. Lu Su hadn't thought that Mo Rijin would be so blunt in doing this. Mo Rijin's broad chest, his sturdy and powerful shoulders and arms all entranced Lu Su. Mo Rijin ripped at Lu Su's martial robe like a wolf, and Lu Su could not win in his struggle against him, his two wrists locked in place by one of Mo Rijin's hands, and in a moment, he gave up without putting up any more of a fight. Zhenji ordered. I will finish this fight quickly, Mo Rijin said into Lu Su's ear, before pressing him up against the wall. Ah! Lu Su shouted. After Hung Jun had described it to him once, he could not resist feeling dubious, was it truly that painful? But when it came time for him to experience it with his body, he realized, it truly did hurt so much. Does it hurt? Mo Rijin stopped in his movements as he saw that Lu Su was crying. He seemed to be a little at a loss for what to do, and he was so nervous that he seemed like the Mo Rijin that had interacted with Lu Su in the beginning, that naive him. No, no, no. Lu Su immediately denied. It doesn't hurt at all. Big Wolf. Right after, he frowned deeply and squeezed his eyes shut, his voice shaking as he said, I want it. He had long since forgotten what Hung Jun had said, but it was at this very moment that he suddenly felt a strange swell of energy combining in their bodies, just like blood mixing with blood, or water with water. Mo Rijin did not say a single word as he pressed Lu Su's back firmly up against the wall. Even their breaths trembled, and the emotions they were feeling were intensely complex. Nervousness, joy, excitement, anticipation, all kinds of emotions mixed together, and they didn't even need to vocalize them, instead directly feeling the tremors that the other sent into their soul. Mo Rijin grabbed Lu Su's hand, and both of them tacitly spread their fingers, before interlacing them. This bout of collisions actually caused Lu Su's tears to flow out, and he could not stop sobbing. Mo Rijin kissed away his tears, before saying quietly into his ear, "This fight won't be over so quick. Why don't you cry a little louder? Lu Su. Bastard." End chapter. Legend of Exorcism. Chapter 118. A plan to lure out the enemy. In Feng Changqing's estate, Li Jinglong fed him the medicinal pill that Hung Jun had prepared. Feng Changqing, however, tried to push Li Jinglong away with all his might, saying, Go save His Majesty." Li Jinglong replied solemnly, "We have made our preparations long in advance, and this time, they will not fail, so please rest assured." It was only with that Feng Changqing loosed a breath in relief and shut his eyes tiredly. Li Jinglong hurried out, but just as he was about to hurry towards the Dacian temple, he suddenly heard a shrill whistle from the north. When he looked up, black clouds roiled in the north, leaping over Xinqing Palace, billowing directly towards Suanwu gates like a mass of clouds rolling along the ground. Thousands of horses and soldiers formed out of the clouds, bellowing, as if they were in pursuit of someone. There was one long whistle, followed by a short one, and all of the members of the exorcism department in the city heard that. Li Jinglong looked up at them. Chu Yongxi immediately left the crowd, withdrawing. Hung Jun was with Li Bai and Li Guinan as they drank iced sour plum juice by the side of the street, but as soon as they heard the sound, Hung Jun had no eyes for his food anymore. He said, "I'll be leaving first." Immediately, he rushed out of the alleyway and mounted his horse. All of the streets of Chang'an were empty, so Hung Jun charged along at top speed. When he rushed out onto the main avenue, he met up with Chu Yongxi, who shouted loudly, "They've gotten their hands on it." Hung Jun shouted back, "Where's Xinqi?" "I don't know." Chu Yongxi replied. "We'll follow the plan." Mo Rijin pressed up against Lu Su and let out a long breath. The two of them were silent for a moment, both of them trembling, before the shrill sound of a whistle came to their ears in the distance. "Time to get to work," Lu Su said seriously. Mo Rijin pulled Lu Su up, and the two of them emerged from the bathing pool. Mo Rijin pulled the inner robes and long outer robes from the shelf at the side, and without paying attention to whose they were, he shook them out and had Lu Su put them on. The two of them wore white shirts and pants inside, with black silk robes draped on the outside. Lu Su whistled to call their horses to them, but Mo Rijin bent forward and turned into the grey wolf. The color of its fur had changed, as if it had changed out a coat. The once grey-blue wolf fur, which had turned black before, had actually turned into a mix of blue and white. The wolf's body was blue-grey, and there was a tuft of white fur at its neck. "You've changed," Lu Su said, a little astonished. "Does it look good?" the grey wolf asked quietly, turning its head. Lu Su climbed up and sat on the grey wolf's back, saying, "Your fur's even thicker now. This weather's too hot." The grey wolf was so hot that it wanted to stick its tongue out a little, but it resisted that urge, because after all, that movement would be too much like a dog's. "Hold on tight." And with that, the grey wolf sprung forward, and with a shua, rushed along the street towards the north, racing after those black clouds. Ashinakayang and Atai galloped along on their horses. The black clouds were less than 100 paces behind them. They had already rushed out of the city, and Ashinakayan blew fiercely into that whistle, shouting, "Is this working at all? I'm about to go deaf from your whistling." Atai turned his head back and shouted. Ashinakayan replied, "Why do I feel like this is a little precarious?" Atai shouted, "We've already got it. Why are you talking about this now? See if the ring can be used." Ashinakayan suggested. Atai tossed it to Ashinakayan, but he had no way to put on that signet ring, because it was almost the size of a bracelet. Ashinakayan looked at it again and again, before saying, "This is the sacred flame. How do we call upon it?" "I don't know," Atai said. "That's not important. They're almost on us." The black clouds were moving faster and faster, and not only were the two of them riding on horses, they also had to direct them towards the main road. That roiling devil Chi, however, was not limited by the geography around them, and after Atai turned a few times, it had closed the distance between them. "It has to have a limit to it," Ashinakayan shouted. Both of them let out a breath in relief. Ever since this devil Chi had seeped out of Xingqing Palace, it had done so endlessly, but now, they discovered that there was a limit to it. That also meant that it was not as powerful as it had been before, so this made things much easier. Even though that was the case, the black clouds that in Lushan had become stretched for almost a qing in size, and murky clouds roiled and lightning flashed within it. This was the first time they were seeing the form of a devil, and in comparison, the devil Chi in Dunhuang was truly an insignificant dwarf in size. "Not good," Ashinakayan shouted. "It's going to surround us. Head up the mountain," Atai shouted. The two of them galloped forward with all their might, racing up the slopes of the mountain. "We're here. Quickly, quickly. Where's Yangtze's array? We can't see it. Quick, get down. There's no more time. How long do we stay down for? What if it doesn't come? Then we'll stay down until it comes. Even then, the artifact might not come into use." Ashinakayan protested. "Plus, what even is the artifact? I haven't even seen it before. Do as you see fit. Either way, you're the hero of today. No matter what, you must hang in there," Atai said anxiously, before he had Ashinakayan get down. He kicked him once more, before running towards the main hall. He collapsed to the ground as he went. At the same time, in the city, Hung Jun charged over at top speed, only to see someone standing in the main street. "Jinglong!" Hung Jun shouted. Li Jinglong backed up slightly, and as Hung Jun's horse galloped by, he reached out a hand. When they brushed past each other, they grabbed each other's hands, and Li Jinglong vaulted into the air, landing on the back of Hung Jun's horse. "Chia!" Li Jinglong took the reins, taking Hung Jun with him as they charged forward. Li Jinglong joined up with the rest of them, and he shouted to Qiu Yangxi at his side, "Where are the others?" "Zhao Zilong is still in the Dacian temple, and as for the rest, I don't know," Qiu Yangxi replied as they charged towards the north city gates. The gates hung wide open, and several city guards had been infected by devil Qi, their faces pitch black as they lay, collapsed, around the gates. The two steeds shot through like arrows leaving the bow, racing out of the city. "Lu Su! I hear their whistle," Li Jinglong said. "They got it?" The black Qi was still faintly visible as it wildly swept in the direction of the Daming Palace, chasing Atai and Ashinakayan, while Li Jinglong's line of people were chasing after that roiling black Qi. Hung Jun looked around him, trying to guess where Morajin and Lu Su were, but when he turned his head, his cheek pressed up against Li Jinglong's, and he felt the rhythm of his breaths. At that, Li Jinglong pressed a kiss to his cheek. In that moment, even if they were on the brink of the final battle, Hung Jun's heart instantly filled with the blossoms of spring. "Are you afraid?" Li Jinglong asked quietly. He freed up a hand to hold Hung Jun's, just like how they had that day when they returned from Mount Li, fighting their way into the Yao-controlled capital. Hung Jun intertwined their fingers. A sense of unreality suddenly swept over him. There were only 6 people in the exorcism department, yet step by step, through Li Jinglong's plans, they had drawn close to what had once been an interminably distant end. The Kun God said. Hung Jun remembered the Kun God who had left, Qing Xiang, who had gone forth to gather up the Yao tribes for the sake of defeating Mara and Xiaoyu, as well as Chongming, in the distant Yaojin palace. None of them had come, so perhaps today would not be the end. Hung Jun had a strong feeling of foreboding. He kept feeling that whether it was Mara or Xiaoyu, at this moment, they had not yet reached the juncture where everything would be decided. However, Li Jinglong, with his confidence, had become the weight on the other end of the scales of destiny, and had given him a faint sliver of hope. No matter what he said, Li Jinglong said earnestly, the future is still in our hands. Chia. The whistle sounded, and a huge wolf rushed out of the wheat fields, with Lu Su riding on its back. The 3 of them cheered at the same time, and Hung Jun shouted, Mo Rijin. You've come back. A low sound began to brew in the grey wolf's throat, before it rose into a howl that was unique to wolves, a thunderous awoo. Lu Su shouted back, where are they? Ahead. Li Jinglong said. Don't follow it too closely. Give them some time. This speed is good. Lu Su and Mo Rijin joined up with the rest of the group. All of the members of the exorcism department were finally present. 13th year of the Tianbao era, 25th day of the 4th month. Case, exorcised devils. Difficulty, heaven level. Region, Daming Palace. Persons involved, Enlushan, Mara, Yangquazhong, Xiaoyu. Case details, on the 25th of the 4th month, on Imperial Consort Yang's birthday, the 4 generals under Enlushan's command, wine, lust, greed, pride, were all slaughtered. Mara returned to this earth, and was lured in the direction of the Daming Palace. Mara must be destroyed in one fell swoop, and the rest purified. Additionally, there is another hidden mission to accomplish. Remuneration, 1,000 years of peace for the human realm. Daming Palace, twilight, under the light of the setting sun. Black clouds sped swiftly towards the peak of the mountain, and amidst the huge boom, Enlushan's bulky form appeared in the main courtyard. In this moment, his entire body blazed with black flames, and his eyes glowed blood red, as if he was a forbidding, fiendish giant. Wherever the devil Qi touched, the flowers and trees surrounding the area all withered and died. The aura of death filled the area, enshrouding the entirety of the Daming Palace. You're seeking your own deaths. Enlushan's voice said, at almost a bellow. The Daming Palace was incomparably silent, and 2 people lay in the main hall. Ashanakayang's body had been completely charred black by the flames, and he lay there, unmoving. Atai's throat had been stabbed with a throwing knife, and one of his hands was wrapped around his throat, while his other was clenched tightly in a fist. As soon as Enlushan saw this scene, he knew that the 2 of them had gravely injured each other in their attempts to snatch the signet ring. He began to bellow with laughter as he said, if Dharma were to come back from the dead today and see such a sight, he might die of anger. Atai spasmed uncontrollably, fresh blood flowing endlessly forth from his neck. His eyes were filled with horror, and with a casual wave from Enlushan, Atai was lifted into the air by Devil Qi and slammed harshly against the corner. He trembled again, before letting go. That dark gold, aged signet ring rolled out of his hand and across the ground, coming to a stop by Enlushan's feet. Devil Qi swept the ring up and deposited it in Enlushan's hand. The thumb on his left hand had already regrown, but this time, he put the signet ring on the thumb of his right hand. How about I meld your hunpo together? Enlushan lifted a hand, but just as Black Qi was about to shoot out and attack the 2 of them, the signet ring on his left hand suddenly glowed with a bright white light, so brilliant that Enlushan could not keep his eyes open. Enlushan, this is... No, no. And Lushan let out a cry of surprise, grabbing the ring on his right hand to pull it off. But as soon as his fingers touched it, that ring grew incomparably hot, and white flames burst forth from the ring, enveloping Lushan's body, circling around him as it trapped him within. You, and Lushan suddenly realized that he had fallen into a trap, and he panted as he said, "Who else? Who else is here?" Atai pulled out the throwing knife that had stabbed into the blood pouch around his neck. His face was smeared with blood, and he smoothed out his curly hair, before rising, shaking open the godly hurricane fan, and pulling out the 4 elemental rings and putting them back on, one by one. "Sorry," Atai said. "Who is Dirma? I've never heard of them." "I am the Sasanian king, Tegla." And Lushan turned, staring at Atai in shock and horror. "The Shiwei prince, Morrigan Arkun," Morrigan's voice sounded, and a black-robed hunter, with a quiver on his back, entered the hall. You, and Lushan pointed at Morrigan, bellowing angrily, "How exactly did you manage to break free?" "Because of me," Lu Su's voice said, as he walked out of the southern corner of the main atrium. In this moment, a strange change had come over his physical form. A short, 2-kun-long pair of new antlers had sprouted from his head, and the black robes clothing his form fluttered in the wind, revealing the snowy white inner robes beneath. The 2 antlers glowed with a faint light. "I sealed a section of his memories away," Lu Su said, "before I then sent him to you. I am able to see into his dreams, and it was because of this that we knew of your every move." And Lushan's eyes were filled with horror. "Why do I feel like the situation today is completely reversed?" Qiu Yangxi's voice chuckled. He held a folding fan in his hand, which he waved elegantly as he walked from the northwestern corner into the atrium. "Usually, aren't our enemies explaining their preparations to us instead?" And Lushan turned his head to look towards Qiu Yangxi, and at that, Qiu Yangxi folded his fan and said earnestly, "The 17th dragon subduing saint, Qiu Yangxi, at your service." "That's because Zenji and Genji set this up so well, isn't it?" Hung Jun's voice said. Hung Jun walked into the atrium from the northeastern corner, stopping in front of Lushan. "I recognize you," Lushan bellowed. "It's you. It's you." Hung Jun replied, "It's me. Originally, I was supposed to be the cycle's Mara. Speaking of which, we have to thank you greatly for that," Li Jinglong's voice spoke last. He walked into the atrium, standing right in front of Lushan as he explained, "Though the target today, a little regretfully, is not you. Either way, I am the Zenji of the Exorcism Department, the Marquis of Yadan, Li Jinglong. This is our first meeting, please treat me kindly." Li Jinglong. And Lushan jeered. "Watch out that your cleverness doesn't become your own downfall." Even before arriving in Chang'an, Lushan had heard of Li Jinglong's name. Back then, he had simply sniffed contemptuously at this 20-something-year-old, as well as at the skills of the exorcists under his command. His only enemy was Yang Qiuzhong, and in his eyes, the only true threat to him would come from Yang Qiuzhong. And it was exactly because he had underestimated his enemy that his boat had capsized in the gutter. His 4 subordinates had all been slaughtered, and even he himself had fallen into their trap. "Wait!" And Lushan roared angrily. "I will strike a deal with you." Li Jinglong replied darkly, "I have already made the arrangements, Lord Lushan." And Lushan's eyes suddenly opened wide, and Li Jinglong continued solemnly, "My sincere apologies, but our time here is limited, and I'm not very accustomed to explaining too much to my enemy. After all, most of the time, our enemies die too." And Lushan, hold on. Wait." Li Jinglong lifted his sword with his right hand while reaching out with his left. That signet ring that Lushan had was an artifact that Qiu Yangxi had specially crafted for this very purpose, and Li Jinglong had poured a large amount of the heart lamp's power into it. In this moment, its light exploded out, and under Li Jinglong's control, coiled tightly around Enlushan. Enlushan let out a wail of pain and hatred, and black chi burst forth from him as the light coiled around him. He bellowed angrily, "Li Jinglong! Release me! You won't regret doing so." Everyone watched Enlushan anxiously, and Li Jinglong most of all. Hung Jun, Atai, Qiu Yangxi, and the rest of them were each holding their artifacts at the ready, knowing that right now, they were doing nothing more than forcing the devil chi out of Enlushan's body. The blow that would decide their victory had not yet come. Even now, Hung Jun felt a strong sense of unreality. Is it over, just like that? Can I be completely freed from my destiny today? The pentacolor sacred light rippled in his hand, and as Li Jinglong poured in all his strength, the flames of the heart lamp relentlessly ate away at Enlushan's body. Enlushan suddenly let out a fierce bellow, and he released his artifacts. The necklace around his neck turned into a golden xiao, which, flashing with lightning, began to attack Li Jinglong. Hung Jun had long since been prepared for this, and he immediately moved, blocking that attack for Li Jinglong. With that, the rings on Enlushan's fingers and the accessories he wore turned into fierce beasts that rushed out around him, tearing and biting. Qiu Yangxi and Morajin took turns rushing forward, and the nailed arrows flew every which way, protecting Li Jinglong as he worked his magic. Impossible. Enlushan's voice grew deep, hoarse, and terrifying. His eyes stared at Li Jinglong, who had almost lost control. Enlushan's power was harder to control than he imagined. Enlushan roared, "Give me mana." At this time, the main hall had already become the battleground of countless monsters of the darkness, and had turned into a hell dripping with fresh blood. Thorns surrounded Li Jinglong on all sides, and a dark wind blew violently across the entire mountaintop that the Daming Palace was situated on, as if this was a hell on earth. End chapter.